I guess, Rohan, first of all, let me thank you for inviting Bloodworth and I into your office. Blood? Did you say blood?
Did you say Castlevania?
No. You did, though.
Yeah.
But, so I played Lords of Shadow 2. It's really fucking weird.
They set it up at the end of the original. They with that surprise kind of post-credit sequence, they really set it up to say, all right, we're going to get weird here. But I don't think anyone really knows what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing that, my biggest problem with that game is it's like they're so far out in their own direction that it's hard to connect to Castlevania fans.
It's like a reimagined mythos.
And they mentioned, with this game, this is the last Castlevania game I think that the team is doing, and they're like,
right.
We're gonna, whatever we felt like we might not have been able to get away with in the first game, we're gonna do it in the second game.
And that beginning part in the demo was the way that they handled the Titan this time. It was like this big, crazy, like clockwork robot.
Right.
And the ones in the first Lords of Shadow, they were trying to sort of do that Shadow of the Colossus thing, but it was kind of a smaller scale, and it was this repetitive thing of like, okay, climb it and then attack it and then climb it again.
It kind of felt very quick-timey in that you had to repeat certain sequences.
Yeah.
And if you climb up and you get knocked off, you're like, oops, okay, I need to dodge 2 rocks, wait for him to punch, crawl up on his, it's very like sequence by sequence. So yeah, this is more like
it's actually part of it's almost like its own level.
It's like a very big wild set piece. They also have this guy, which is one of the the weird tech things they're bringing there, and I want to talk about this more later. So the paladin in flying power armor, shooting like he charges up glowing arrows, and you have to get him to target these rivets, and they do that a lot though. So you're climbing on this thing, and you're like, okay, I can't move up, so I need to stand by this rivet, have him charge a shot, and then move out of the way and have him shoot it. But I mean, it's okay, it works well as a set piece thing. But sometimes I'm like, there's nothing you can do than wait sometimes, and it's another one of the things where I feel like I wish these guys trusted the player a little bit more to move things along. I did get out of the castle, and onto the streets a bit. You can see some of the things you can explore. You'll also run into things that are like, you'll walk into a room, they'll like pan up to a thing and say, you cannot reach this at this time. Come back later and you might be able to reach it, which personally is not my that's
after you get double
I don't
jump.
really have the discovery there, but the world seems, it seems pretty big, and they really emphasized the scope, the huge amount of effort in building this space. At least they mentioned, they're like, this is kind of like, the castle's kind of like Dracula's mind, and it kind of, is weird and changeable or something.
Kind of like a hub, would you say? Like the castle's a hub,
the castle and then
the
city outside, which is like it's not like, the setting is modern day, but the apocalypse is kind of going down now, it's not quite.
And it is actually that same town from the first game. Remember how there's a town that you kind of went through before the castle?
Oh, it's just developed.
That town is just developed over the years. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, and the castle and the city connect at certain points. One thing that they mentioned, we'll see how it works, is a mastery system. So essentially some of the upgrades to your moves are tied to using those moves. So they're like, if you just, spam this button and you don't do these moves, then you won't get the stronger versions. And then later on, when a particular move, like, a ground slam or something will be really useful in a fight, then you won't have a strong version of it and whatever. So they're encouraging you to do different things.
Yeah.
I kind of worry, when they have those achievements in a game, like get 50 pistol kills or whatever,
right.
I kind of worry that you'll be like, oh, this is going to be really useful, so I'm going to do it 50 times in a row and just go ahead and level it up. I didn't really get far enough into the game to have the mastery system open to me, however, so, I'm just speculating, but I think in general the combat feels pretty good. There's a cool, rather than the roll in the first game, have like kind of a floating dash move, kind of vampire like, and you can actually knock smaller guys over with it, which is fun.
Could you go in and explore like the menus and the abilities? You mentioned the masteries, but is there anything more than that? Like, are there equipable items?
They're like items, relics. There's like a dragon form. There seem to be like 100 abilities. You change things out with a D-pad. You're using all the buttons on the controller. It looks like they have a lot. They showed something from, I guess, a little bit later in the game And they had, there's a ton of abilities and a ton of things. And you do have your focus mode when you build up a high enough combo, which gives you different abilities with your, your light and dark weapons, like an ice thing to freeze people. It worked specifically well on some bosses. But yeah, there is a ton of that, like a lot. There's like blood daggers that they're specific, blood blobby things in the environment, and you hit them and then it opens up a passage. So a lot of that kind of, ability lock and key stuff. And again, I didn't quite have the world open to explore, so I'm having to try to infer a lot. But yeah, a lot of that, and you know what? They also got stealth.
Stealth
might be right. So Beck's like, Dracula, Gabriel, I need you to infiltrate this corporation. And he's like, okay.
Okay,
I'll do it. And there's like this weird like suit of armor that has like this big weird wavy sword, and it talks in kind of like a computer voice. It's like, he's like, what's his name? Go with him. And the robot's like, yes. So what you need to do, there are these gigantic troopers. They look like something, they're like Space Marine size, huge dudes. And I think that Zobek calls them Golgoth troopers. So they're kind of like cyber demonic soldiers. You have to move into a shadowy area, basically. Turn into rats. While you're rats, you can run around, and you hear the guys are like, thom, thom, thom. Gee, this is, I'm on patrol. And you have to find another place that's dark to untransform into rats. If you can sneak up behind the guy, you can possess him. Then you basically like really slow lumbering. His health bar ticks down, I think. And you basically hit a switch on the wall. And then like a door opens and you explode from inside his body, and you go into another room where they teach you how to shoot a swarm of bats to distract guys. These guys, so the guy's like, oh, I got bats around me. So then you sneak up, jump up on a pipe. When you're going past, they do a little cutscene where you slip and fall, and then it sets up another stealth room where you basically have to sneak up behind guys, possess them, and then either hit a switch or eliminate them. And they have a lot of these other elements. You remember a Toy Maker character? I bet Huber does.
When you shrink down and you go in his little toy box?
Yeah, like you have, there's like a puzzle in the game. Basically, there's this character that lives in the castle, and he's been wronged or something. So you have to perform this play by selecting props at specific times while someone is telling a story.
Naturally,
a chest opens up, and you get a heart, and you stick it in his chest.
Thank you for returning my heart, good sir.
It's like you're doing really this, and you don't know how.
Yeah, really weird.
With
the demons and the angels and the mechs. Some also the religious angle, I guess. Fight Mega Paladin, who is like the leader. He's been sniping at you with this bow and taking off the rivets for you. Thank you very much. So you fight him, and at least 3 times he's like, "Die, monster! You don't belong in this world." And I was like, it's a little much. But that's not what I'm getting at. Is the weird religious angle. So at the end of the fight, he's like badly beaten, and he's clutching a crucifix, and he starts reciting a prayer in Latin. And then Gabriel grabs the cross, and he's like, "I'm gonna say the same prayer." And then they both say it, and he's like, "You don't understand. I'm God's chosen Dracula to fight Satan," I guess, or imply. He says, at least the character believes that he is God's chosen one. The cross explodes. That dude is like vaporized. All the knights around you are vaporized, and Gabriel's like, "Yes, I'm evil, but I'm also, God's chosen one." And stuff. So, yeah, and that's when it goes to the murder.
That's when you go and eat a family.
The point here is that Dracula's an evil guy, and you'll read in 100 interviews. He's like, "Yeah, we wanted to make him kind of like Tony Soprano, he does some bad things. He's a bad guy." Just to make it clear, you're playing a dude that's bad. But by putting you in this scene at first person, I think they're trying to make you kind of, participate in this and feel responsible. But I really didn't feel that at all. You really feel like, hold forward, hit the button. You don't know what's going to happen when you hit the button or when you hold forward. At first, I just sat there. I'm like, oh, what happens if I just bleed out? And obviously, they're like, no, not like that. Start it again, hold forward, hit the buttons. It's crazy. There is so much stuff, the demons, the machines, like the God and the Satan, and Zobek in his slick business suit with the Cyber Knight. I can't get it all into my head yet.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you question what's good and what's evil.
Yeah, I'm totally questioning everything.
And your weakness will be my strength.
This must be a dream.
Bye.